This year marks the 19th year of Whiten Case's global partnership with the Jessup. Over nearly 2 decades of this partnership, we have sought to celebrate the values that the Jessup represents: international cooperation, excellence in advocacy, and a deep and enduring commitment to the rule of law. 6 years ago, Whiten Case established an annual award to honor Jessup alumni who have made a profound impact on the legal profession and beyond. Now, Jessup alumni have gone on to become leading lawyers, judges, academics, government officials, and public servants, each playing a critical role in shaping a more just society. In selecting the award's recipient, we look for someone whose life and career embody those values, someone who began, as you all did, as a law student trying to argue a difficult case and carried that experience into something extraordinary. It is my great pleasure to announce that the 2026 Whiten Case Distinguished Jessup Alumni Award goes to Professor Ximena Fuentes. Professor Fuentes participated in the Jessup in 1990 as a student at the Faculty of Law of the Universidad de Chile. Professor Fuentes exemplifies the very best of the Jessup tradition. She has distinguished herself not only as a scholar and an advocate, but also a public servant and a diplomat of exceptional accomplishment. Professor Fuentes has represented Chile multiple times before the ICJ, including as an advisor on the maritime dispute with Peru, in the Bolivia v. Chile proceedings on access to the Pacific Ocean, and as agent in the Celala case. She has also represented Chile in the ICJ climate change advisory proceedings last year. As a scholar, she has taught public international law at multiple universities in Chile and abroad, and served as president of the Chilean Society of International Law. As a public servant and diplomat, she has served in a number of distinguished roles: as a deputy judge of the Second Environmental Tribunal, as Vice Minister of Foreign Affairs, and most recently, as ambassador to the United Kingdom. For everyone competing here this week, her example is a powerful reminder of what the Jessup can inspire. It is an honor to present the Whiten Case Distinguished Jessup Alumni Award to a member of the Jessup family whose career has brought distinction to our community. Professor Fuentes could not be with us in person to accept the award, but she has kindly shared a video message for us, which will now be played. Thank you.
I want to express my heartfelt gratitude for this award. On the 22nd of January, I received a mail from Elizabeth Black informing me that I have been selected as the 2026 recipient of the Whiten Case Distinguished Jessup Alumni Award. This news came as a fantastic surprise, and it means a lot to me because the Philip Jessup competition occupies a very important place in my life. And for that reason, I am very, very sorry that I cannot be with you in person today. I was a participant in the Philip Jessup competition in the 1990s, way back 1990s. And it is not an exaggeration if I tell you that this experience had a great influence in my future career as a lawyer and as a professor of international law. This was the first time I had the opportunity to experience a moot court competition, where knowledge of the law was only one aspect of the many skills that a good lawyer needs to display in court. The Jessup experience showed me that being a practitioner is an adventure, a real adventure into the complexities of real life problems. And it requires more than knowledge about the law. It requires creativity, imagination, some actoral skills, in fact, a lot of actoral skills, intellectual curiosity, and an interest in the human condition. I enjoyed so much my experience in the Philip Jessup competition that I decided at that time that I wanted to work in the field of public international law. My first option at that time was to become an academic. And I was a privileged person because I wrote my thesis, my PhD thesis at the University of Oxford under the supervision of Professor Ian Brownlee. I wrote about international water courses. And when I went back to Chile to work as a professor of international law, I was lucky enough to work for my country with regard to a controversy regarding an international river. So life is also made up of these lucky moments. I ended up working for the Republic of Chile in 4 cases before the International Court of Justice. And later, I became head of the International Boundaries Department at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Then I became Undersecretary of Foreign Affairs. And more recently, I was the Ambassador of Chile in the United Kingdom. Looking back, I think that the Jessup competition was indeed a life-changing experience for me. And for that reason, I continue to work in the preparation of the Chilean Jessup teams, because I know that what you get to learn from this competition is much more than what you learn in the classroom. I'm sure most of you will become great lawyers. And let me tell you that I am convinced that today, more than ever, we need very good lawyers, good, honest, knowledgeable practitioners, because a rules-based order is our only opportunity to face global challenges today. Finally, I would like to express my gratitude to the International Students Association in the person of the Executive Director, Michael Pale. You have made a great contribution to international law. And I'm sure that my experience is not unique. I'm sure that all former Jessup participants will share my view that this competition is a life-changing experience. So I would like to end by wishing you the best of lucks in the competition. I'm sure that you will make great. And thank you very much. Good luck.